Happy Wednesday, all you freight masters out there. Hope everybody's having a great week thus far. Today, I almost didn't talk about this, but in a recent FreightWaves article, Trump calls for a 200% tariff on John Deere tractors if the company moved more jobs to Mexico. Okay. Before I get into this, I'm going to kind of add my 2 cents. I normally don't, discuss politics and that kind of thing really too much on this channel. But my feeling on this is that it takes away U.S. jobs whenever a company moves overseas or outside of the U.S. Anywhere. We were once a country that was the manufacturing powerhouse of the world. Basically, if you bought anything that was manufactured, outside of the U.S., it was basically junk, right? If you really look into it, we've lost many companies as we've become more and more of a consumer country rather than a manufacturing country. Agree with me, disagree with me, but there was a point in time when dad would go to work, mom stayed home, right? Everybody had their roles. Now, I'm not saying women can't go to work and do their own thing or anything like that. So before anybody jumps on me for that, I'm just saying traditionally everybody had a role and it worked, right? Dad went to work, had a couple of kids. Mom was at home to supervise the kids, right? This was before like latchkey kids and all of that. Mom and dad both didn't have to go to work to pay the bills and put food on the table. And dad could own a new automobile, the family could, and have a home, pay it off, had retirement, and was able to put little Bobby and Susie through college, right? On one income. And that's just not the case anymore. And it's been in my humble opinion, it's been a very gradual decline in this country as a result. Even like customer service roles, not even manufacturing, but even customer service roles have been outsourced, right? It's just like we keep moving more and more jobs, it seems like, outside of the U.S. So personally, I am kind of all for the tariffs, regardless of what country that they're, moving to or anything. I'm all about that. You want the consumer dollar, but you don't want to pay Americans to build it, right? And I'll get off my soapbox now. President Donald Trump's plan for 200% tariffs on the agricultural equipment manufacturer John Deere would disrupt the supply chain and ultimately hit consumers' wallets, a Mexico trade expert said. Tariffs cause the cost of goods to rise and demand to drop. Well, duh. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. However, keep the jobs here, right? This could all be eliminated. Just keep the jobs here. And it's just going to cause the cost to rise. The pocketbook of the consumer is what gets slammed. George, and forgive me, you know how I get tongue-tied in the morning. Canavati, principal at logistics provider J. Canavati and Company, told FreightWaves in an interview. I don't know who that is. I'm not really aware of that particular company, but on Monday, Republican presidential candidate Trump said he would impose a 200% tariff on imports of John Deere tractors and equipment into the U.S. if the company moved jobs from a plant in Iowa to Mexico, right? So the jobs are here, but they want to move them. Seem to remember Ford doing that. They were going to build a facility. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was in Ohio prior to the last election, because they were kind of afraid of the same thing, the tariff. And when Trump wasn't elected, they inevitably changed gears and moved everything down to Mexico. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Trump discussed the tariffs at an agricultural policy event in Smithton, Pennsylvania. As you know, John Deere announced a few days ago they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. Trump said at the event, "I am just notifying John Deere right now that if you do that, we are putting a 200% tariffs on everything that you want to sell into the United States." Right? It makes sense to me. Moline, Illinois-based John Deere is a global farm and construction equipment manufacturer. The company has more than 100 factories around the world in 30 countries. John Deere thinks they're going to make products cheaper in Mexico and then sell it for the same price as they did before to make a lot of money and get rid of our labor and our jobs, Trump said, right? Kind of sort of what I was just saying. John Deere has 4 factories in Mexico, including the cities of Monterrey, Ramos, Arizpe, Salido, and Torreon. I need to brush up on my Espanol, and maybe I'd pronounce some of these words a little better. The company inaugurated its first facility in Mexico in Saltillo in 1984. In June, the company said that production of some of its industrial agricultural equipment would be moved from Waterloo, Iowa, to a plant in Ramos, Arizpe. Guys, I'm having a trouble with names, especially early in the morning, right? I get a little tongue-tied. The decision to move operations was driven by labor market costs, John Deere officials said. Although it sounds to me kind of like what he was saying, that it's just get it manufactured cheaper, keep it at the same price, bing bang boom, they make more money, right? And at the same time, hurting the U.S. economy by taking away U.S. jobs. John Deere's plan to bring new product programs to our operations in Waterloo, Iowa, makes it necessary to consolidate the manufacturing of cabs from Waterloo to Mexico. The decision to move cab production ensures the company can balance workforce needs within the tight labor market, while also ensuring Waterloo can open up floor space to manufacture new products, the company said in a statement emailed to media. I'm not buying that. The Waterloo plant employed about 1,500 people before the announcement to move production to Mexico, including 1,100 production workers. The company has eliminated 950 jobs from Waterloo, Iowa since June, according to KCRG. Who is KCRG? When one country imposes tariffs on another country, the country often retaliates by imposing its own tariffs in response, Canavati said. Case in point is when China encountered us for the initial round of the Trump tariffs. Canavati said when Trump levied tariffs against goods from China in 2017 and 2018, China then slammed U.S. agricultural exports with tariffs. China is one of the most important buyers of U.S. agricultural goods. The losses to the U.S. farmers were just mind-boggling. The U.S. government came in and told the farmers, "We'll subsidize your losses." We as taxpayers got a double hit with import tariffs, and then out of our tax dollars, we have to pay the subsidies to U.S. agricultural exporters. Trump has also talked about levying tariffs of more than 60% on China-made goods if he wins November's election. I'm not looking to hurt China. I want to get along with China. I think it's great, but they've really taken advantage of our country, Trump said in February in an interview. I'm not going to go into the bias of certain news outlets, right? But in my humble opinion, I say bring all the U.S. jobs back. Like I said, we were once a manufacturing powerhouse. We're not anymore. In my humble opinion, it's very sad to see. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. Otherwise, I'm going to end up entering my 2 cents in on everything. And I'm not here to try to sway anybody's opinion in any way, shape, or form. You have to make up your own mind as far as, what you feel is right, who you like, dislike, whatever. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I think my dog is underneath. Yep, she's wiggling my. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, as always, be kind to one another. Bye-bye now.